Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and in today's video we are going to be talking about how much to keep in your savings account or how much to have in your emergency fund. And if you guys want more information about becoming financially free at a young age, make sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button and the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And don't forget to like this video and share it if you find it helpful. So let's dive right in and talk about how much to actually keep in your savings account or how much to have in your emergency fund. There's been a lot of talk about this topic in the financial industry, financial community, because it comes up a lot. People need to know, well, how much should I have on hand? How much money am I going to need? It's a legitimate question, and a lot of people recommend 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and I've seen even up to a year's worth of expenses. And this is what I want to say. So when you're trying to figure out how much money you should keep in your emergency fund is what I'm going to call it, because it's for emergencies. It's having that savings set aside in case something unexpected happens. So when you're trying to figure that out, here's what I like to look at. I like to see, okay, well, what are my current expenses, right? So you have to know how much money you're spending each month. What are your expenses? You know, how much is your rent or your mortgage, your car payment? What are you spending on food, on transportation, all of those things. And then you can determine, okay, well, I need this certain amount each month to live. You know, these are my expenses, and this is the amount that I would need to live off of. And so once you have that number, then you can kind of see, okay, well, if something was to go wrong, like, you know, you get in a car accident, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but, you know, say that does happen and you have to pay out your deductible for your car insurance. So maybe that's $500, maybe it's $1,000. So you want to kind of think, what are unexpected things that could happen and how much money would I need in order to pay for that expense? And there's, you know, lots of different scenarios, so we don't want to spend a ton of time analyzing every different possible thing that could ever happen. But just kind of get a feel, okay, well, I know, you know, I was in a car accident before and I had to pay out $500. And, you know, maybe you own your own place and you may have to buy a new furnace or a new air conditioner. So there's just, you know, different things that could come up. So you kind of want to think, okay, well, how much are those expenses going to cost? And then you can kind of determine, okay, well, if I don't own my own place, and maybe if I don't even own a car, I just ride my bike to work every day, and, you know, I have a $1,000 deductible on my insurance, health insurance, then maybe I would just need, you know, like $1,500 or something for an unexpected event. And then also, you know, your expenses that, you know, your daily expenses, how much would those be? So kind of, you know, get a feel for how much you're spending, and then, you know, how much your deductibles are on maybe your car or your health insurance or your home insurance, and kind of determine, okay, I would need access to this certain amount of money. And if you have a credit card that you could use, you know, to pay for your deductible or something, then kind of think, okay, well, I have instant access to cash in different ways. Maybe you have a line of credit. I have a line of credit on just my checking account at my bank. So there's different ways you can get access to cash pretty easily. And then, you know, if you have your money in different investments, then once you know, use your line of credit, say, then you could take out maybe some of the money in your investments and pay for that expense. So you want to keep as much money as possible working for you. You want to keep that money invested. And then just kind of see, okay, I have access to cash in other ways. So I can keep a minimum amount in my emergency fund because that money's not really working for you. So you just kind of want to consider, what are your expenses, what are some unexpected things that could happen, and determine, okay, I would kind of need this amount of money, and then take a look and see what access you have to getting cash in other ways than pulling out your emergency fund. And so there's different ways to kind of look at it, and just having the mindset of, okay, I want as much money as possible working for me instead of just sitting in my savings account waiting for something unexpected to happen, is a really good mindset to have, so that you can keep the majority of your money working for you instead of it not working for you. And once you kind of determine that amount, and then how much you can get access to, how much money you get access to in other ways, then you can really keep a minimum amount in your savings account. And the other thing I want to bring up is, when you have your emergency fund, I would recommend putting it in an online savings account instead of a typical brick and mortar bank, because online savings accounts usually have higher interest rates that they pay on your money. So you might as well be getting at least a few more dollars or a little bit more money from your emergency fund. So I use Ally Bank, ALLY, for my emergency fund account. And another good thing about this is it's an online savings, so it's separate from your current savings or checking account. So you'll be less likely to spend that money elsewhere, because it'll be in a separate account. And you can also build up your emergency fund pretty quickly by just setting up an auto transfer. So maybe if you get paid twice a month, you can set up an auto transfer of $100 or whatever it might be into your online savings account. So you're not even worrying about having to transfer that money over and seeing it move over. So you're completely removing that temptation to spend that money, because if it's already automatically set up, you're not having to think about it, and you can just kind of let that run in the background and build up your emergency fund that way. So that's just another tip for you to think about. So hopefully this video is helpful, and so just kind of consider, what is the least amount of money I can keep in my savings or my emergency fund, but still feel comfortable with. You want to be sleeping at night, right? You don't want to be laying awake worrying about this. So make sure you feel comfortable about it, but try to keep the least amount in there, and then have the rest of your money working for you. And realize, you do have access to cash in other ways. So if you do have a credit card or a line of credit, you can definitely access those things, and then, pay them off very soon, and, just transfer out some of your investments that might not be quite as liquid as an emergency fund, but are still pretty liquid. You can always pull whatever you've put into your Roth IRA out. Or if you're buying individual stocks through a brokerage account or something, you can, cash out a stock if need be. There's just other ways to look at it, rather than having a whole bunch of money not working for you. So just make sure you feel comfortable with how much you have in there in your emergency fund, and, realize there's other ways to get instant access to cash. And if you guys liked this video, please click the like button and make sure to share it with someone who might benefit from this. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.